Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. This is part 2 in a series that we've put together of webinars highlighting some of the incredible community resources that we have access to right here in our backyard. My name is Brianna Mosher with the Flint and Genesee Chamber of Commerce. Before we get started, just a couple of quick comments. At any time, if you have questions or would like to provide any commentary, feel free to put that in the comment section, either on Facebook if you're viewing there or YouTube if you're viewing there. We'll go ahead and keep an eye on those as they come in and have time to address those at the end. Today's going to be very conversational, very informational, and to kick things off, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Dr. Kimberly to introduce our panel of speakers today and get things rolling. Dr. Kim?
Thank you. Thank you, Brianna. Good morning, everyone. And thank you to our viewers for joining us. This morning, I am joined by Ms. Jessica Robinson, who is the program director with the Flint Community School Corps, the Flint Community Crim Foundation, and the Community Education Foundation. Welcome, Jessica.
Thank you, Dr. Leverett.
I'm also joined by Ms. Katie Aruju, who is the Flint National Service Accelerator. She's with that organization, which is hosted by the United Way of Genesee County. Thank you both for joining me this morning. So to kick it off, we just wanted for our viewers to know a little bit more about the role of your organization and some of the programs that are provided here in the community. So I'll start off with Jessica. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So thank you again, Dr. Leverett, for inviting us to be a part of this conversation. So at this point, the Flint Community School Corps is a national service program, AmeriCorps program that serves with the Flint Community Education Initiative that's hosted by the Crim Fitness Foundation. So we're an umbrella program that oversees a AmeriCorps Vista project, which is capacity building, volunteerism with each of the Flint Community Education Initiative sites. But then also we have a direct service program, which is called AmeriCorps State, that serves to directly serve students and work with students directly via success mentoring, physical education and activity, but then also educational learning and support as well. So we're an umbrella that houses both of those particular projects. And we work with Katie over at the United Way through various service learning opportunities as well for students.
Okay, great. So what's the purpose or vision in terms of community engagement of these programs that you just talked about?
Right. So I can start, and if Katie, if you want to jump in, please do. So our program really focuses on, we place members in each of the 13 Flint Community Education Initiative sites. So we have AmeriCorps State members that are serving directly with students through success mentoring, but then we also have Vistas that also reach out to the community to obtain resources, connect families to resources, either within the school or externally within the Flint community.
How many do you have at each site?
So we typically have between 2 to 3 AmeriCorps State members, and then we have one Vista that serves in the capacity to increase volunteerism and family engagement.
Okay, great. And are they focused when they work with the students and the staff, are they focused on social emotional learning? Are they focused on academics with the students with reading and writing? Do they push into the classrooms, or do they work with small groups of students? Just trying to get our viewers a visual of how that looks when they go into the schools.
Absolutely. So our AmeriCorps State members traditionally, or in the past, they've actually pulled students from class in small groups. Some of them have actually worked directly with students in small groups on literacy. So we use an intervention called ABC intervention, and we actually work with kindergartners and first graders in some cases to actually pull them in small groups and work on letter sounds, phonics, etc. And then we also have physical activity coordinators in the past that also work with students after school or during school to do mindfulness, but then also work with them in the capacity of sports after school as well. This year, we won't be doing any pullouts from classrooms. It'll be more like during the school day, they'll be able to engage with their mentor whenever it's allowed, either by the teacher and or during lunch, for instance, once we go back to in-person.
Okay, great. So it sounds like it is just a huge project, but there are so how do you collaborate, coordinate, and plan in terms of rollout? Because it sounds like it's a lot of heavy lifting. So I'm sure you have some other team members and organizations that help you to get that done, because I heard you talk about the social emotional aspect in terms of mindfulness, the physical fitness aspect of it in terms of the Crim Fitness Foundation. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So you nailed it right there, Dr. Leverett. We definitely work with other organizations, programs, both internally within the Crim Fitness Foundation and externally. And one of them is the United Way of Genesee County. And so we work with them on service learning projects. Specifically, the Global Youth Service Day is one of the projects that we work with the United Way on. So I don't know if Katie wants to talk a little bit more about that, but that is one opportunity that we do connect students to learning and service learning and projects within the city.
Which is so important, as you know, Katie. So is there a number of hours that are required? And what have been some of those service learning opportunities that the students have been involved with?
Well, to talk a little bit about it, so we do have the Global Youth Service Day, and that is a grant funded through the Youth Serves America in partnership with the United Way and the Accelerator. And so we can engage with local schools and high schools and really encourage a culture of service in the Flint community, and really promote and engage students in taking service for life and learning how to serve and give back to the community, in hopes that someday that maybe they could be a mentor, they could be an AmeriCorps member, and they could dedicate a year of service to give back to Flint. And so that is the Global Youth Service Day, and that we have engaged over, I think, 500 students in the past in that. And so that's been a great. And then throughout the year that different high schools and elementary schools can apply for grants, so that the youth can lead projects and that they can lead their service opportunities.
Great. So that kind of leads into the next question. How important is student voice or student activism in terms of how the programs are ran? Do you have a student on a committee that sort of knows the big picture of what the goals and outcomes are? And do you utilize student voice in any way?
Yeah, so we actually, our vistas who are placed at each of the 13 Flint area schools, they work with the students to determine what ideas and figure out the ideas that the students have to service or anything related to volunteerism that happens right at their school or within the community around their school. So our vistas work with school staff and then also the students to guide them through the grant writing process, and then also guide them through the actual project itself. And it's a great partnership with United Way. We're really grateful for it. And we work with, again, the students, but then also the school staff and the community school directors that are at each of the Flint Community Education Initiative sites to encourage students to be creative, but then also let them know that they are able to lead the projects and be a part of that grant writing process as well.
Great. So in terms of their growth and development, what are some of the unique aspects of students that are participating, whether they are in the AmeriCorps or the AmeriCorps Vista? What distinguishes those two programs, and what are the benefits?
Yeah, so we have, so AmeriCorps state members, they're able to, again, directly work with students through success mentoring, and then so they are adults that are either recent graduates from high school, or they could be retired, right? So our age range goes from recent graduates from high school, or someone that's 17 or older and has their GED, to retirees. And they serve, again, with students to encourage them, to help them understand what academics are and what they need to focus on in school and their education, but then also engage them through service. And so we're able to, the difference between the state project, which is direct service with students, and the VISTA project, which connects families, again, to resources either at the school or throughout the community around the school, is there's a time commitment that's a little bit different. So service is a next level volunteerism. And so these individuals, as Katie mentioned, have dedicated a year of their lives to service, and they have a designated schedule weekly. And for our state project, it is part-time. And so they're able to serve around 20 to 25 hours per week for the duration of their term. And then our vistas, they serve in the capacity of 35 hours per week for 12 months. And so we really want to support what's happening at the school buildings, but then also work with as many community members as possible to encourage them to work with the students and the families that are around or in or around the schools.
Great, great. So what are some of the benefits? Do they have an opportunity to participate in professional development hours? Do they have an opportunity to present at conferences or present amongst their peers in terms of what they're learning in the field, and how does that expand throughout the program? Okay.
Okay. Yeah, Katie, if you want
Maybe I can speak to that. And so the National Service Accelerator, which is housed at the United Way, is kind of another umbrella organization that brings together all of the AmeriCorps national service members in the Flint community, because we have over 400 members in the national service umbrella serving here in Flint. And Flint Community School Corps is a big member of that and a big program within our community. But the Accelerator really helps utilize the members and bring them together so that they can network amongst each other, and that they can partner and find ways that they can connect different local community organizations at the volunteer level. And so we meet every month, and we have professional development opportunities, and where they can hear from different organizations, different leaders, and the other members themselves, and then they can speak to what their program is doing, because like the Flint Community School Corps, we have a lot of other programs serving in the education field. We have Reading Corps, which is serving K through third grade and doing literacy work with the elementary schools. We have Food Corps, which is also in the schools, working on healthy foods and diets and education. And then we also have the Up to Us, which is doing athletic programming. And we have a lot of after school AmeriCorps members serving at the Boys and Girls Club and different places around the city. And so,
Katie, you talked about the literacy corps, the food corps. Are they at all 13 sites, or do they start at a school and move around? Are they scheduled a certain way, or are all of these at all 13 of the sites? Just for our viewers.
Yeah, so it depends, but usually the members are assigned to a specific school, and so that they will be serving that school for the term of their service. And so it's a great opportunity to have some partnership with the Flint Community School Corps, AmeriCorps members, and that they can work together, and that this can be a group effort to really bring the community together in education. And so, to go back to your point, we do professional development, but we do it as a community of national service members.
Okay, great. What have been some unique challenges, and how have you been able to meet those challenges in terms of the current situation that we're in with the COVID and the pandemic? How have you had to adjust to meet the needs of the community?
Yeah, I can share a little bit about what our program has experienced. So as I mentioned, we've had members in the past serve directly with students. So that would be meeting them at their classroom, or walking them to lunch, or having lunch with them physically. And so right now what we've had to do is transition to a more virtual connections with students. And so one of the vehicles that we've used, again, is success mentoring. So those students, we target those students who really need additional support and really need another supportive adult to be placed at the building, so that to encourage them and let them know that education is important. And so what we've done is connect students virtually, either via their teachers, but specifically with their community school directors, who have outlined specific ways and plans for Flint Community School Corps members to actually connect to students. So it could look like a Google Classroom hangout with a small group of students, or it could be an AmeriCorps member being able to access the classroom and being able to just observe and be supportive of students in the virtual classroom space. So we've transitioned from in-person to virtual platforms, and we may even use Zoom. It just all depends on how it's set up at the school itself.
Okay, great. And in terms of connecting parents to research, is there a parent component of the program in terms of how you communicate and get information out to parents?
Absolutely. Yep. So Various ways. So we make sure that we, first of all, reach out to parents and get their permission in order for their students to be a part of any AmeriCorps related programming. So we have parents provide permission, or parents or caregivers provide permission, and then be able to connect with them via phone, or they're able to join in on the Zoom session or the Google Classroom session with the students, so that they're able to connect with the Flint Community School Corps member as well. And those conversations can lead to discussing barriers. And in those conversations, the school corps members are able to connect the families to resources. And so we also have a very active Facebook page in which parents are able to connect there virtually. We also provide lots of information in other ways as well. So the crim.org website is where a lot of our events are posted, and you can also sign up for various programs that the Flint Community School Corps members are involved with as well.
Great. Katie, is there any conversation or plans for the future to expand the current programming and the reach, or any opportunities for growth that you foresee in terms of your overall programming and the current wonderful services that you're providing to our community that we're so thankful to you for?
Yeah, I think that we're really looking forward to 2021 and looking to grow and expand the different AmeriCorps opportunities we have, and really work together to get people in the right organization, because we have a lot of opportunities in the city, and to really find where someone would be the best fit and where they could serve and grow the best. And so I think we're planning to grow. We have summer associates coming up in the summer of 2021. So if you're looking to just get a little experience, a little taste of what it is like to serve in AmeriCorps, you can serve for the summer for just 3 months.
Great, great. What would be, to our viewers, what would be some takeaways that you would want them to know and understand in terms of the impact that this is having directly on our students? It's having an impact on our students, our families, and the greater community. What would be a takeaway that you would want viewers to really know and understand about your programs and how it can change the lives of children?
Right. So for us, it's really important for us to be in line with the 4 goals of the Flint Community Education Initiative. And those are increasing student attendance, which is, again, a focus of our AmeriCorps State project and through success mentoring, but then also neighborhood engagement, which is the AmeriCorps Vista project, which is essentially targeted with going to the community and figuring out what the needs are at the school site or with the students and families and connecting them to resources. And then also increasing 3rd grade reading levels is another goal of the Flint Community Education Initiative. And then also increasing graduation rates and grade promotion. So we really, our program is really set to follow in line with the Community Education Initiative and increase, the active participation of families within the students' education. So it's important for us to follow, again, in line with that, but then also to explore what the impact is for the individual that's serving or the AmeriCorps member. And so what we found is that our members have been able to connect and have a fulfillment through their opportunity to serve. And although it's a huge commitment, 35 hours a week is full time for most people or some people, and that's a huge commitment. So to commit their lives for a number of months to service is really impactful for the individual as well. So, yeah.
My niece was a volunteer, so I understand. It's a lot of great work. It's very demanding, but the opportunities that they are afforded and the lives that they are able to touch and transform is so important. And for me, I just appreciate the programming so much because it's driven by data, mm-hmm. and it's intentional in terms of how we want to make sure that our students are getting what they need. And so I heard you, Jessica, talk about that success mentoring. Mentoring is a huge component. It's really part of the wraparound services when we talk about what we want for the whole child. This just fits in perfectly. We want social emotional learning. We want to make sure that we are increasing student attendance, that we're decreasing suspensions, and that we're meeting the needs of our students, whether they come to school and they need a pair of eyeglasses, or they need a uniform, or they need food, or they need help with reading, whatever the need is, that we're taking a proactive approach, and we're using our data to plan and guide and make adjustments to those plans as necessary. So I just appreciate all of the work that you guys are doing, and really thank you for the conversation. Now, I'm a viewer and I want to know more about this program, or, let me tell, how can I share this? Where would I go to find out more information?
There's a few places. So if you're interested specifically in just learning more about AmeriCorps and the Flint Community School Corps and what it looks like here at the Crim Fitness Foundation, then viewers can go to the www.crim.org website. That is our organization's website. And click on the link to community education and find out more about national service and Flint Community School Corps. And then there's also multiple places as well. If you're really interested, we do have an email address that was posted as well on the slide there that I'm sure will be shared on the website too.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and if you're interested in any, in just AmeriCorps in general, throughout the city, there are a lot of opportunities, and you can check out the United Way's website, and we post, we have over, I think, about 14 programs right now that are serving in the city, and so there is something for everyone out there.
That is great. So again, I thank you ladies for joining me this morning. This has been a very enlightening conversation. I'm sure it has been for our viewers, and it is something that they can take away and learn and share the information. Continue to do the great work that you're doing, and we just thank you so much for the programs that you have here in our city. So thank you very much for your time, and have a great day.
Thank you, Dr. Leverett.
Thank you.